All right, Roger here. We've got the 17th of December 2020, and I just want to share with you this cool little idea I had about a month ago. The 55 Nomad, the dashboard is done on it, but what I don't have now is an ignition switch that's in the dashboard since it's in the GM tilt column now. Also on the other side of that, I also have what's called the windshield wiper switch, which is now integrated into the GM column because it's a late model. So I also have that blank spot. So I was thinking, since I have an LS3 with a 460 LE automatic transmission and I already have the cabling for that, why not go ahead and put a manual shifter in there? So I went to Eckler's.com, auto parts, got myself this it's a light shaft, if you will, that you actually slide into that controls the light switch, because I'm looking for this piece right here. And I've got myself this momentary on and off switch. So what's up or down, so what you're going to do is you put ground right here, and then whether you hit this one on or this one off, it'll actually upshift it and downshift it. So that's the concept right now, and I know it works because it worked in the 36 Plymouth. So the difference is this is what I have, and this is what I got a guy who has just a 3D printer. I found him online, just went into Google Maps and typed in 3D printing, and probably about 5 or 6 miles from my house. And here's what he made me. He basically scanned in the old one, which is right here, and then just converted to a CAD program and then pushed it to his printer. This isn't a rosin type of epoxy, and it's clear, and on the back of it, it's kind of wet right now, and I'll tell you why in a second. It's actually receded in here, and I got a couple of examples on how we actually did this. For example, this one I've already polished out, and see how it's receded back there where it says upshift, downshift? Same concept here. So this right here is going to be a manual. I'll go ahead and hold this for you right here. This is manual shift, on, off, and there's a button here with a ring that's going to illuminate. Pretty simple, eBay, about a $4 switch. And then I have the manual side of the house, which is right here. This is going to be where the windshield wiper switch used to be. And the same thing. It's kind of dirty right now because I haven't polished it, but it says upshift and downshift. Actually, I had it backwards, sorry. There's downshift and there's upshift. And what I'm in the process right now, I see all these little dots back here. I'm just polishing those off, literally. What you see on here is wet. And this is 5,000 grit paper right here. I don't know if you can see that someplace on there. 5,000 grit paper for polishing. And over here, I've got my 600 grit paper, also a little puddle. Little thing I learned when I was up at my NATO assignment in the Netherlands. This is the same figure eight that you do polishing the fiber optic cables, which I did for a long time working up there, a place called AFCENT, Allied Forces Central European Theater. And polish this out, takes quite a bit of time, probably about 5 or 10 minutes per. But what you do then is you get a super smooth, milky solution back here. That means you're actually polishing it out, and I still see some of the ridges on here. And then, once you dry this thing out, I take my little bitty paintbrush right here, little bitty small one, and I'm going to daub white model airplane paint enamel into the back side of this thing because it's receded in there. That's going to give you that 3D effect. And then put it back on here, polish all that off of there or sand it off of there, and everything, the white will stay in here. You get that 3D effect. And then this is the exact same concept that GM used 60 years ago. I'm just copying their idea with a new technology of a 3D printer. So this should actually work. I can manually shift it up and it'll look stock, but if you look really, really close, it's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, that's the little piece I'm making right now. So that's all I got for today. Pretty cool little idea. Like I said, I've been playing with it for about a month in my brain, and I just got this thing back from the 3D printer. Guys are pretty proud of this thing. They wanted like 50 euros, which is like $60 to print me 3 pieces of plastic. But that's basically it. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, man. These things didn't turn out too bad, if I might say so myself. They're not perfect, but I've got manual shifting on there. Upshift, downshift, and here's one just in case I want to put it in the light switch area. So that part is done for the aesthetics portion of it, and then I had to break out the scratch your head and figure it out stuff. So this is my little mock-up right here with my battery and a couple of diagrams, and I pulled out the old GM initial connection, And then I've got the Supermatic diagram, which came with the package like 4 years ago. I still keep everything in these books up here, and I keep it in this little folder right down here too. But anyway, long story short, I got my little test bed set up here, and what this is actually going to indicate is this is a switch that's going to actually be connected to this little doohickey right here, the little light switch. And I'm going to hook it right here, so now when you switch up and down, you can actually manual shift it. But to get to that point, which is this switch right here, I had to get myself this switch, and this switch is now hooked up. So when you push this button right here, the light cuts on. What that does is that gives this relay right here, closes it up, the relay's drawn right here, and it gives ground from 87 up to here, which is this point right here. And what that allows you to do is it just momentarily gives it upshift, downshift, upshift, downshift. And that comes back over here to these right here. This is what I'll show you in just a second. Upshift, downshift will go where the windshield wiper switch used to go. And before I show you that, this brake light switch I found out also by reading. It helps when you read a little bit the instruction before you assemble this stuff. The orange and white wire, if you connect that to the brake switch, the brake light switch, which I know where that's at, and when you press it, the cruise control automatically disengages what it should do. And then also there's a switch in there called AB. I've actually found this is calibration AB. And what that does is it goes into street mode or performance mode. Performance mode is nothing more than sport mode, and it tells the 460 LE transmission to shift a little bit harder and a little bit faster between shifts. Anyway, those bezels are going to go right here. I'll take these out where it says windshield wiper, and it'll say upshift, downshift. Or my second option is to put it up here, take the light switch, put it down here, and then on the other side, that green light switch I just showed you is actually going to go right here. So you push this little button right here, the green light will cut on. That way you know you're in manual mode. And that's basically it. So it turned out okay, and one hell of a little project. Took a little bit longer than I thought, but it's the attention to detail stuff. That's what I like about the car. And these things turned out really, really cool, especially with the 2K paint that I mixed up this morning. That's it right now. Take care. Bye-bye. A little small outtake. Bye. All right, this is going to be a little subset of Nomad build part number 14. And what I'm doing today is I'm actually installing these little tracks right here, these felt tracks I think is what they're called. I got these from Dan Chuck's. Most people actually supply them, but let me show you how I do it. Again, I don't know if this is the wrong or the right way. Let me crawl on the inside here, show you my tools of the trade. Little Craftsman pick right here, small screwdriver, whole bunch of little super small screws, and silicone gasket maker, the black RTV, and then a little cordless drill with a little bitty fine, appropriate sized drill, and I think that's a 1.5 millimeter. I'm not quite sure. You measure for whatever screws you got. But look, after I clean all this out right here, I'll put a little bit of RTV in here, not too much, it's just to hold it in place just a little bit. And then the screws are actually what holds it up in here. And that's why I got my little miner's helmet on. See these little screws right up in here? Now, you can actually take these things, the screw heads, since they're concave or countersunk, and you can actually press them down into here so you won't notice it when you slide the glass across it. And you see these little bitty dots I put right here? So before I actually put the actual track in here, I just mark with a little magic marker where I can actually drill a little bitty hole in here. And then of course it's important to prefab all of this stuff, make sure it fits pre-fitted. And then if you notice right here, see where that channel right here, the stainless steel ring, and this little one right here, these have to actually match perfectly. And these are just one that I cut in two and then glued it on here, again with the RTV, and you can see it right up in here. Try to get my light down up in here. And then here in the back, I've actually got these little wood blocks in here. I made them exactly an inch or half an inch. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push the track down here and push these little lights or these little bitty screws right up in here, and it'll be pushed down right here. Now here's another thing that's interesting. They actually give you about another, I don't know, what is that, 8 inches, 9 inches of track. It's supposed to stop right here, but that basically means that your window stops about right here, and it's just a little vent window. What I've done on the other side, I've actually measured it, and you can actually, this is my new piece of chrome right here, wish I'd have thought about this before, but you see how the track goes back a little bit further? What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extend it to about right here, and I'm going to cut it right there, and then it's in the back, I really don't care about it, and then on the back I'm going to reseat it so the glass will actually slide a lot further back until this curvature kicks in right here, and then it's going to hit right up here. I'm also going to make myself a little rubber stop right back here. So the glass is going to go to about right here instead of right here. So I'm going to give it about another 9 inches to slide back, and it's just a little bit further back. Anyway, that's it for right now. Here's what the Nomad looks like on the inside. And just one more thing. These things were never meant to seal completely. It's almost impossible. So what I found out now, you see this little track right here, little rain gutter? The rain gutter is actually meant to channel all the water out and to get to this little drain plug right here. And then a drain plug actually goes out into the wheel well on the bottom and just drops out like that. So anyway, so you're not going to seal it if you're going to try to seal it, because all these little places right here where the water can come in, it's actually going to channel it right down in here and then drop it into the bottom. So anyway, that's my plan. Show you a little bitty trick I have to use here. So I noticed that my first strip on the back here that's going to actually seal it up is not quite thick enough. So the trick I'm going to use here is I'm going to use the same carpet that I have back here, and I got myself a couple little pieces in here, and I'm just going to cut a little bitty strip on here about 3/8 inch with a nice sharp knife here. And put this up on here. And I'm going to actually glue it on there because it compresses fairly well. Straight edge, take your time, there it goes. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here that I've been using for a couple of years now. You see, even if you cut it nice and smooth, you're going to have these little fuzzies on here. You can't get them off of there. But here's the trick I'm going to show you. So I'm just going to put this right up in here. Move my camera down a little bit. Got my little butane torch on here. And what you do is you heat up just a flat piece of metal. You need something that's fairly thick, at least 1.5 inches. And then I'll show you the little trick I use here. A little closer over here. This works actually really, really good, because now what you do is you place this right here on this tip right here, and it makes it perfectly smooth. You notice that it cuts it and burns it flat. So that's kind of a neat little trick I've been using for a while. Just a second, I'm heating it up again over here. See how fuzzy it is right there? Don't burn your fingers. Look at that nice little straight edge right now. And that'll be glued to the inside of the track. So you can see that. So you got a nice straight edge right there right now. Got another piece over here right now. I don't know what I've done with it, but it's the same type of thing. Oh, here's one I've already done. See how clean that is? It doesn't have the fuzzies out on it. And this, again, is just going to be spray glued on the back. I might actually use silicone and just glue it on the back. See how it compresses? And it's going to seal those two pieces of glass going by each other. Anyway, I test fitted it last night. It actually works. So, take care. Breathe it out a little bit. Got my light on it. Grab my pick. There's the hole. Put the drill down. Get the screw out of my mouth. Put it on here. See, that's just a little bitty screw on there. And then right when you pull that pick out, stick that screw right in the hole. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Works out perfect. A little bit of bite, so you got to get exactly the right size drill bit for those screws to grab, and then just snug it up a little bit, and then pull your tape off because it held it up against there, and it's completely smooth in here. You don't feel the screw hole in here. Now what you can do, see, if you have to take it back out, you just run a pick like this and you'll feel it. See it right there? Click, click. Same thing down here, and I got a couple other down here. Now I'm probably going to run for this piece here. It's about 4 feet long. I'll run, I don't know, maybe 8 screws in here, and let that RTV silicone, which I got underneath here, set up really good. Then grab your little toilet paper pieces right here. I don't see any right now, but make sure you don't have any silicone sticking out of here by just rubbing up in here like that and cleaning it out. Anyway, that's my little trick. Take care, bye-bye. All right, this is my, I think it's about a 2 horsepower polisher, but it's running with 380 volts, so it's it'll rip your arm off basically. But just real quick, I picked this up at Vetorama used. I think it was like about 80 euros, which is about 100 bucks is what I got it for. And man, this thing is like glass smooth, industrial type of polisher. So what I do is I start off with the coarse wheel right here. You can tell it's kind of coarse. And then move over to this one right here, which is the intermediate polishing wheel. That's the one I do most of my cutting with. Then of course you have to have this for cutting. This is the brown. And then I'm using this for high luster polish right now on the chrome. But this right here is my flappy one on the end to get around corners and stuff. It's my, my final polish. But these are all pieces out of the Nomad. I just counted, and I stopped counting at 22 pieces on the inside of the Nomad. Now I've already got some of the stuff in here. Like that piece right there is already polished, and here's my extended track here because the windows on Nomad moved back a little bit more. But just wanted to show you this thing. This is actually pretty cool. So let me put my camera right here. Put my glove back on, safety first. But what's neat about this thing, I'll just show you this. So you hold on to here and you spin it. Make sure I go the right way, yeah. So the way you take these things on, no matter what wheel you use, if you just cut this thing on one time, it spins for like 5 minutes after that. You just push it on here. And basically that's it, and then you cut it on. But check that out, how smooth that is. Now I'm just in the process of doing the B-pillar chrome right now. So I'll take the blue, lift it on here. And this is one thing, like I said, it'll rip your arm off. You've got to make sure that you always go where the edge is pointing down. And you can push it in there. You can actually put pretty good pressure on it. Now, if this thing is already fitted, then there's nothing you can do to get it out. But if you look at some of this polishing on here, it's pretty doggone good. And you can see you got some stuff on the inside right here that I'm not worried about. But generally, you're not going to get this with steel wool or sitting there with your little polishing mothers. This is what it takes to actually get this thing in a timely fashion to get this thing chromed out. Like I said, this end right here, if you want to get this corner right here, you just turn it around, hold on to it tight, and it'll go right around that corner there. You can tell it does a pretty good job of polishing it, and it'll stay that way for a while too. But this thing is actually worth its weight in gold. Like I said, about 80 euros, which is about 100 bucks, about a year and a half ago, and I got it mounted on my my junkyard toolbox. And never mind the pot in here, we actually cook bacon and grilled ham and cheese in there every now and then on my wood burning stove. But anyway, that's it right now. That's polishing 101. Take care. Bye-bye.